Sorry, peeps, it just dropped out. Luckily, I actually looked back up at the phone here, so I don't know if the video quality is any better, but sorry, I need to get out of here and go back to where the live actually was. Is that it? No, that's not it. Live. Sorry, peeps. And bloody lost the what's the name? The chat. The previous chat is gone. How do I get back to that? Let me just go back and have a look. I'm sure I can. What if I click on that one? Does that keep the history? Nope. Bloody useless. Sorry, peeps. Lewis B. There was you had a comment on there, or another question, I think. Or you spoke about who were also expats. Yeah, there were a number of people from overseas, even in the NZ Army. I don't know about a number, but there was at least a handful of people even in battalion. But from the SF side of things, which I think was the specific part of your question, I didn't see many in that space, at least not during my time in Oz. And there was Stuart McAdam, I think. I think I briefly saw, but I didn't see what your question was, bro, so apologies for that. Let me come back to, and because this kicked me out and it hasn't kept the chat. I don't know, is there a way to keep the chat history? Live chat, messaging, live chat, all messages are visible. Top chat, some messages such as potential spam may not be visible. I don't care if somebody's spamming on here. Anyway, what have we got? This one probably be a longer period of time. It might make this bloody camera shut off again too on the phone. So it says one's on selection. Yeah. This next one here, Kia ora, Joe. I've read this one. Kia ora, Joe. I've seen a lot of Shubs' stuff on YouTube, and I was expecting some of these messages, by the way. I've seen a lot of Shubs' stuff on YouTube, IG, and TikTok, and a lot of it I disagree with. Fair enough. Cool. A lot of it this person disagrees with. I was surprised to see and hear you say that you're going to interview him. Okay. I genuinely like your content, but I'm not sure that collaborating with someone like Shubs is something you should be doing. Hey, first up, respectfully, appreciate your time and your comments and sending through this message. But yeah, kaya koe, each to their own. You have obviously chosen to spend some time here on my channel and you like some of the content. Cool. Thank you for that. But I will collaborate and talk to whoever I want to talk to. And so, yeah, I share that respectfully. You carry on in here, which is cool. I'll carry on reading this. And then you've got, so after that, what'd you say? But I'm not sure that collaborating with someone like Shubs is something you should be doing, and you've got a question mark. So I'm going to collaborate, interview, have a chat with him. Yeah, and I'll do that with whoever I like. Can you ask him? So this part I like, okay? Because I did ask whether you like the guy or whether you don't. Feel free to ask questions if you've got questions, and I'll make sure that I look to ask him. He said nothing is off limits, so I'll delve into stuff with him. Can you ask him why he is against his own people, Maori people? I assume is what you're talking about, even though you haven't put that here, but you do mention it later on. Can you ask him why he is against his own people and why he chooses to make Maori and iwi look bad? Question mark. Yes, I can ask him that question. Pretty sure I know the answer. And based on some of the stuff that I've seen him do, I don't see him doing it. I don't see that that's what he's trying to do. My perspective anyway. But respect yours. You've taken the time to reply and put in a question or questions. I will ask him that. Can you ask him why he is against his own people and why he chooses to make Maori and iwi look bad? Then you've got here, again, respectfully appreciate you, wishing you well with your channel. But again, I'm not sure that bringing Shubs onto your show, I don't know if you can call my channel a show, but yeah, onto your show is a good move. Modi ora, an exclamation mark at the end. Cool. Thank you for the message, for the email that you've sent, and for expressing, your thoughts. Not everybody will want to put their comments and stuff in the comment section where I've said, hey, if you've got a question, whack it in there. This person has been kind enough to provide a little bit more context. Their opinion. Basically, they don't agree with a lot of what they say they did. Yeah. And a lot of it I disagree with. So they haven't said all of it they disagree with. So I'd be interested. I haven't gone back to this person yet. I'd be interested to know, okay, so you've said here a lot of it you disagree with. What parts do you agree with? And it may be nothing to do with what they've just asked me to ask questions about. But clearly, that is a sensitive topic for this person. And from what I've seen in comments on some of Shubs' stuff and what Shubs has responded to, clearly it's a topic of contention and or a sensitive point for a number of other people, not just this person here. So as I mentioned when I was reading this out, that I had read it before doing this video, I'm actually surprised that I haven't received more messages like this, and or that I haven't just received flat out, like, dare I say, hate messages, because people, number of people don't like Shubs. At the same time, I've seen a heck of a lot of support for Shubs on his channel and in his comments. So if I'm being honest, and maybe I just haven't seen all of the comments across all his socials, I've seen probably more supportive comments for Shubs and what he's doing, and the comments that are in there in terms of, seems like from a variety of people, than there are and or have been, at least from my observation, of negative comments towards Shubs. On the back end of that, some people have asked, yeah, I've got a question, who is he? Shubs is just he's a Māori boy. And he was living in Australia for a while, and I'm not going to go into stealing his thunder of him sharing some of his story, but it's pretty easy to find. He's spoken a heck of a lot about some of his challenges, his trauma, his trials, his mistakes, his failings, things that he's not proud of, etc., etc. And then he's also delves into, and for some of that, people, rightly so, in their own minds and in their own opinions, have formulated a perspective or a judgment on the person, as we all do, and they've gone, I don't like this guy, I think he's a dickhead, or, man, this guy's wearing his heart on his sleeve, putting it out there, acknowledging stuff that he's done wrong. He's also calling out people, whether they are Māori people, whether they are non-Māori people, and people, his own people, calling him racist. So it's pretty interesting. Some people that I'm surprised, because, well, I'm surprised from the context of their position within politics, government, etc., etc. Don't get me wrong, I don't think anybody's that high that you shouldn't be able to just sit down and have a chat to them. Like, they're just a normal person at the end of the day, flesh and blood, skin and bone, fallible like the rest of us. So I don't know that that they should be viewed or perceived as being above or better than anybody else. But I like the way Shubs just speaks to anyone and everyone exactly the same, whether he's got a hoodie on his head, or whether he's swearing as he's communicating, whether he's disagreeing with comments from what's been shared, or whether he is calling out and responding to negative comments on his channel or on his channels. It's surprising that people in a supposed position of status within parties or whatever, or politics, that they get so upset when he's asking or when he's sharing what he's found, information that he's found, and then he's bringing that to light for the rest of us to see, or anybody here in New Zealand to see, and then just simply asking those people, if I'm wrong, please show me. Like, show me that I'm wrong, show me where I'm wrong, show me where what it is that I'm presenting is not correct, instead of just getting angry and calling me a racist and saying that I'm trying to bring Māori people down and our iwi, this, that, and the other. Like, don't change the subject, is what I hear him saying. This is what I'm showing you. This is what I've found. This is what it's saying you're doing. that's not right. If I'm wrong, come and show me and address those points, and I will apologize. That's what I hear Shub saying. I think anybody, if they spend a bit of time there, yeah, he may be a bit colourful, flamboyant might be the term. I don't know if that's the right term. Some people might say unhinged or out the gate. I think he's just raw and honest, and he communicates in his style and his way, and clearly it resonates. It works or resonates with a lot of people, and I think after meeting a couple of people last night and meeting with Shubs as well, so there was four of us, including me, because Shubs wanted to connect me with a couple of other incredible people, which I will, and they've agreed to, so I'll message them and tee up days and times that fit their schedule, etc., and connect. But it's, to me, it's clear to see that he's coming from a genuine place of wanting people to succeed, regardless of who they are. He wants Maori people to succeed. He wants non-Maori people to succeed. He just wants people to get along and people to be honest about what it is that they're doing, rather than just this ongoing cycle which seems to happen not only in mainstream media and in politics of what seems to be corruption, flat out lies, and people feathering their own nests at the expense and consequences of, or disregarding the consequences and impact that that has on other people, supposed members of their community or constituents, if that's the right term, that they are supposedly there to try to help and support. So there's, if anything, like I may be going off topic here in terms of the comments from this person and the questions that they put through, but if anything, after last night, meeting Shubs, having a chat with him and the other two guys in that there, it became clear to me that there's a large number of people that seem to feel the same as what Shubs is putting out and talking about, but just, you know, they're like, a perfect example was the bro last night, one of the fellas last night saying, bro, I feel exactly the same, but oh man, that's not me. I can't come out there. I wish I could, but I can't come out there and blink and call the stuff out the way you can, bro. Not to me, to Shubs, he was saying, but all of us were there in the group. And it just, there was a little bit of a light bulb moment. I was like, yeah, that, you know, I can imagine, and clearly by the followers that he has, that Shubs has on his channels and stuff, there are a lot of people that do, whether there's a lot of people that are following him because they don't like his content, I'd be surprised if that was the case. Usually people follow somebody or something because they like what it is that they do. And so the people that follow Shubs, I'm making an assumption here that they like what it is that he does. And I think by and large, those people that probably follow, potentially like the bro last night, probably feel like, so shout out Troy, I'll mention his first name, I won't mention his last name right now. There's probably a number of people like Troy last night who follow Shubs, who feel the same way about the things that Shubs is bringing up, and or like me, who maybe didn't even know that was some of the stuff that has been happening, that was happening. And you know, that just, when you see it, or when I saw it, I thought, far out, that's pretty poor if that is what's been happening by those particular groups or parties that are supposedly there for their people. So I'd be keen to see their responses, not their whinging and moaning and racist commentary attacks, like show the evidence. And I haven't seen that yet. So if somebody's seen it and they're going, oh yeah, actually those people that you're talking about, whether it's from Te Pāti Māori or from wherever, here they've responded. This is the receipts that they were talking about that they responded in regards to Shubs. Like, send it through. I'll gladly have a look at that. I've seen Shubs' side of some of the stuff that he's done, and I've gone, like, respect, man. Like, get after it. But anyway, there's a little bit more to this in terms of what I observed about myself last night. Anyway, during the catch up with those other three fellas, and that was recently. As people know, I've received a bunch of requests, and I've done some of those requests on the politics and elbow the blink and fire the liar and all that sort of stuff that have been happening in Australia. Haven't really delved into any politics here in NZ, but I got a little bit of an insight from not only Shubs, but one of the other fellas, not Troy this time, but one of the other fellas that was there, that was actually running for Parliament several years ago. So that person has got their finger on the pulse and has got by the sounds of things, has got a bit of an understanding of how the workings, what happens in that space. And he's got some opinions on certain things across the board to do with immigration and building, housing supply, costings, and all that sort of stuff. So he's going to be, well, they're all going to be interesting and I think beneficial. But as I listened to that, and then I heard Shubs add more, and then I heard this other person add more to that, I thought, man, like that is really saddening to hear, makes me angry. But also I realize, like, doing a reaction, I don't mind it. It's fun. I talk from the perspective of just reacting to what it is that I see, from no educated background in terms of politics or finance or anything like that, or how those structures and processes work. Like how when organizations, or dare I say iwi, I'm not a racist, people. Like, I love being Māori. I want people to succeed and do well in the things that they are doing and that they're going for, but I want them to do it with integrity, with honesty, So, but where was I going with this? When I was listening to some of that kōrero last night, the conversations, the structures, the fundings, where money gets sent, how tender processes work or whatever, when people are putting in for building or housing consents or development or whatever, it just sounds like, listening to these fellas talk, sounds like there's so many layers and obstacles which just take so much time, which costs so much money, which then drag things out, then nothing gets done. Here in NZ, from what I was listening to with these fellas talking, that it just, to me, I was like, what? As I listened to that, it's no wonder, like, there's housing challenges and cost of living is so high, and the inability to get into a home because there's not enough houses, because of all the red tape and obstacles that are placed in front of developers and people alike that are trying to increase the supply to meet the demand, but they're just met with obstacle after obstacle, and therefore that keeps driving house prices up and up and up and up. Now, I'm no expert in that. I'm no economist. I'm not a blinking property developer or anything like that. But what I was listening to in that conversation, I was dumbfounded. I was like, that sounds like we could stop being our own biggest obstacle and make things a lot smoother, easier, transparent, and get things going, even just in one of those areas, say housing as an example, to bring the costs of housing down. If we spent some time just sort of, or if I spent some time, not me going to change it, but for my own benefit and understanding, to identify what those current structures are, identify what those obstacles and blinking red tape issues are, why they take so long, why they've been implemented, etc., when they were implemented, and then moving into, some of the big players in here, at least here in NZ. Fletcher's, I think, is one of the names that was brought up, if not the biggest, buying up smaller companies who charge at a lower cost for certain things, like little things, simple materials like chipboard as an example, or the little screws that go into there, which is just crazy to me, the costs of those things that have been driven up. And then you add on to that all the connections and the consents and a whole bunch of stuff that just needs to happen. Then the business that wants to provide that house, they want to make a profit too. So then everybody's taking, everybody's just grabbing what they can. It seems like. And I, for one, would be interested in just understanding what are the steps that need to happen? How much do those things cost? Why do they cost that much? And if we didn't have these things, what's the risk? What's the risk of, and or if we try to make those things smoother, if that's the right term. Like, I don't know what those costs are at this stage, but from what I was listening to last night, there's a heck of a lot of money going into it. And then people wanting to subdivide, and then just a whole nother can of worms in terms of rates and all that sort of stuff. Like, there's a lot of money that people are paying across the board, regardless of which country you're in, for things that are supposedly supposed to go back into the communities to make them better. Where am I going with it? Like, I would love to know and see what that looks like, and then try to get an understanding or have people explain why Why does that happen? Why does that take another 18 months just to make a decision on this? Why? And it's not surprising, I suppose. What is it, 3 years in government term here in NZ or Australia? I'm not sure the length of time. But given the fact that it can take 18 months or 2 years or more for something to just, I don't know, get approved, or maybe not even get approved, just progress to the next stage for consideration, it's not surprising bloody bugger all gets done. And in the meantime, committees and advisory boards and supposed contractors and specialists that are going to look into that and that have won the tender to keep this thing dragging out longer, because let's face it, if you're a contractor and you're on a tender, you want that thing to carry on for as long as you can, right? Especially if it's good money involved. So, yeah, just mind blowing to me. But it inspired me to want to have a look into that space. So, hopefully, with any luck, through these things, I've made some connections already. Not only through Shubs, not only through finally just, okay, I'm going to reach out to some people now, and they've been kind enough to respond. That ripple effect, which who was it that put that in? It might have been eBaby Secrets. He had the words to the effect of ripple effects and stuff that can happen just through one connection. So there's, I don't know where it's going to go heading forward, but politics has never been something that I've been interested in. I've made that pretty clear through the fact that I haven't voted for over 20 years. But, and I don't see that changing. But trying to get an understanding, like, people, regardless of what ethnicity they are, blank and black, white, brown, orange, yellow, I don't care. If we, like myself included, don't take some time to have a look into things to try to get a better understanding, then it's not surprising that we just stay in the dark and just stay on that little hamster wheel and just run flat out, trying to keep up, trying to keep our heads afloat. For any number of reasons, and there's a number of people out there doing it. So when I look at Shubs' channels and I see his followers, and when I heard some of the kōrero or the discussion last night, particularly from, again, acknowledging the bro Troy, saying that he agrees with what Shubs talks about, but that's just outside his comfort zone. He's like, nah, bro, I'm not I don't want to be blinking, rocking the boat or that sort of thing. And that's all good. Like, each to their own. But I just can't help but think that there must be a number of other people that follow Shubs that have the same sort of thoughts. Maybe there are some that are confident to be out there and do what Shubs does, and that's awesome if there is, because I think the more the better. But I'd probably assume that there's the vast majority are probably less willing to lean into that space, but they love the fact that Shubs is going after it. But I think the other part of that as well is that, that can be, was it ape together strong? I think there's lots that can be, a lot more that can be done when there's a group of people that are genuine and or committed to really wanting what's best. Not that Shubs knows exactly what's best for our people, not that I know or other people. Clearly, the government doesn't really know exactly what's best for our people, or for, when I say our people, I mean all people in this country either. I wouldn't say that they're not trying. Like, I'd like to think that they are genuinely trying, but I think, like I was saying in my reaction to some of the Albanese stuff in Australia, it seems to me that countries would benefit greatly from a massive overhaul of the political system, the financial system, the housing system, the health system, the defense system, just to really get into that. I like Charlie Munger, who I think was Warren Buffett's long-term business partner, whatever. I think one of the things he spoke about was whenever he was looking at investing, and I just liked what he said, shared, because I thought, I could apply that to anything. It's sort of like the pre-mortem approach that, from a military perspective, before going onto a task or an operation, conducting a pre-mortem before you even go on. Everybody knows, I think, what a post-mortem is. Sadly, that's after the fact, when somebody has passed away or something has failed, and you're looking at it after the event has taken place. A pre-mortem is sort of like, it struck me when Charlie Munger spoke, although he didn't say the words pre-mortem, I can't remember his words exactly, but it was along the lines of a pre-mortem, whereby if he's going to invest in something, he looks at all the ways that he could, that could fail. What are all the ways that this company that he's looking to invest in could fail? And from that, he then starts working out how those things might be addressed or how he would address it, and then goes into doing his job. Like, he's bloody wealth of knowledge, that fella. Sadly, he's not with us anymore, so rest in peace to Mr. Charlie Munger, I think is how you say his name. But there's lots of things like that. Anyway, coming back to the pre-mortem stuff, and looking into those things and trying to get a better understanding what I just spoke about, the overall of the systems and that sort of stuff. Is it going to happen? Probably not. But, I can sit here and say what I want on my channel. But that pre-mortem approach is taking the same concept or idea, whether it's a mission, task that you're about to go on. Say it's a house raid. What are the things that could go wrong before you get anywhere near? Oh, okay. And it's just, you sit around, everybody has input into that typically, and you just start going around. What do you think could go wrong? And it can take some time, but you're looking at and thinking of the most likely things by and large before you start going, too far out the gate. You start sort of a little bit more narrower, for want of a better term. And what are the most likely things? If I used a raid as an example, well, before we even get out the gate, like, are the vehicles good to go? Like, we don't want a breakdown on there. Have they been serviced? Are they ready to go? Wheels good, blinking, steering, all the fluids, etc. Oh yeah, they were just serviced. Okay, cool, that's all done. Kit and equipment, have we got everything that we need? Like, what are we taking into this? We're taking flashbangs. What are we expecting? Live ammunition, blah, blah, blah. Body armor, plates. Have we got all of that stuff? So all your personal kit, etc. Yep, okay, cool. Tick that off the list. What else could go wrong? Oh, the area that we're going into is a suburban area. Are there likely to be civilians and stuff in that area? Collateral damage, potentially hostage situations. So then, you're starting to break down and look at, before you step foot onto any vehicle or aircraft or whatever, and it's just really starting to dissect the things that could potentially go wrong or negatively impact your operation. Get there, what if we get there and, police search warrant or whatever the terms are that they use, and it's a bloody reinforced door, or there's potentially IEDs or whatever, is this person known to have that? So again, they're going through, they've got a profile, they've got intelligence reports, etc., etc. They're using all of that to try to build not only a picture to be able to conduct an operation successfully. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a police officer, I'm just spitballing here, and drawing from some military experience and planning and stuff that would happen. They've probably got other things in place now, but the pre-mortem essentially is trying to identify what could potentially go wrong before the job starts. Then making sure that all those controls, or you implement as many controls as you can to try to eliminate or reduce the likelihood or possibility of those things happening. And I would apply that same thing to the health and safety space. We've been fortunate to work in that as well for long periods of time. I'd apply that to the training and assessing space. I think you can apply that to anything that you're wanting to do. Might be a bit OTT applying it to every day of your life. I don't think I do that, but that's where I think a level of situational awareness comes into play in terms of people's backgrounds and experiences and where they come from. But anyway, where was I going with that? I think with the government stuff and the overall and the systems and stuff that I was yapping on about, conducting a pre-mortem, or it's probably past that at this stage, right? Because you've got all these systems and stuff and policies that are in place, and they are clearly they're broken, or there are gaps, or there's loopholes in there where people can rot the system. NDIS over in Australia, as an example, National Disability and Insurance Scheme, billions of dollars being pilfered, siphoned, stolen out of that system to people that have no right having access to that money at all, and people who have just identified where the gaps are. So maybe they've heard of what Charlie Munger and what he's spoken about, and they've looked at that system and gone, where are the gaps in that system that I can exploit in order to get as much as I want out of it from a financial perspective? Those people that are wired that way. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's wired to be able to make income, generate income. I don't care who you are. Everybody's wired to generate income, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's how you go about doing that, I think, in my opinion, and what it is. They probably don't care the legacy that they leave behind, the criminals and that sort of thing. And clearly they don't if they're involved in criminal behavior or fraudulent behavior or, extortion or deception or just flat out lies. Clearly they don't care if they can keep doing it on repeat. But the point being, those systems are broken. And so the tender process, there's gaps in it. Like the checks and balances and the oversight of, okay, why are we giving the tender to this person? If we put it out to tender, why are we just looking at this one tender? Oh, he was what? He was the former Prime Minister's secretary or PA or whatever. And we haven't considered anybody else. I think David Pocock does a great job. Former Wallaby, former Western Force player, now senator, calling out a whole bunch of stuff, trying to, I can see, and it must be so frustrating for him as an example, but he seems to be trying super hard to get results, good results for Australian people, to try to improve the quality of living for people in Australia, as an example. And no doubt, I'd like to think that there's people here in New Zealand that are looking to try to do the same thing. But the process or the systems are that, I don't know, convoluted, I assume, without knowing all the details. But hopefully over time I'll get a little bit more knowledge in that space and share my own whakaaro and share my own findings in terms of what I find in there. And I think that will hopefully come through speaking with people that are in that space, through looking to try to educate myself a little bit more in terms of what's going on in that space. And does that line up? Like, well, where are these things? And then trying to get answers. Why does that happen? And I don't mean answers like we'll take it on notice. That's just a load of rubbish. Even to the point there where that part of the process likely needs an overhaul. Like handing in redacted documents for a Senate hearing, to me, is just out the gate. How that is allowed to happen, and what legal processes, like again, that convoluted cobweb of legalities that are in the background that enable and allow people to openly deceive and lie, and just nothing happens. Nobody's arrested, nobody's charged, nobody's convicted, nobody loses out. If anything, people will start making more money or get promotions, like the global financial crisis and the bailouts that happened. Next minute, all those companies that were bloody redlining that needed to be bailed out, reporting massive profits. So it's mad. There's lots of stuff that I don't know 100%, but I think there's lots of stuff after the catch up with the lads last night that if I took some time, looked into it, spoke with people more educated than me, can see in black and white what the things are, why they happen that way. I'm sure I could not only learn, but understand a lot more than what I know now. And I think people would be interested. I think that's the key. What stuck out to me, like, I'm interested to know what that stuff is, but I've been lazy. I don't really want to do the work to look into that, right? Like, I think to myself, oh, that's going to be a lot of reading. I don't really like reading. So how can I avoid that? I'll see if somebody else has done the work. And somebody else, oh, holy heck, who's this fella? Shubs. Oh, Shubs has done a fair bit of work and homework. Man, where did he get that information from? All right, cool. Let's see if Te Pāti Māori or whoever, let's see if this person or this individual or this party or this group or these groups of people or this church or whatever, let's see if they come back. Shubs has offered an open invitation. They can come on to his podcast or to now his radio show, Radio Aotearoa, and they can have a chat with him. Like, he's made that very clear. He's open to speak to anyone, even the people that he's called out, even the people that may wish him, may not have well wishes for him, may wish him harm, is what I was trying to get at. If there are people out there, I'm sure there are people out there that wish other people harm. But here's somebody that's got an open door policy by the sounds of things. Doesn't matter who you are, whether you agree with him or not. He's got a platform or a place for you to go on to if you want to and have a corridor with him and answer the questions, defend yourself if you feel that that's what you need to do, and or just verify that what it is that you're doing is tika and pono, or true and correct, is right, is above board. So yeah, I find it interesting that he's got so much, I think more supporters than he has haters. But yeah, people are going to say what they want to say. I'll ask again. Cheers, Stuart. When the SAS psychologists interview you, are they just trying to understand who you are, or are there curveball questions designed to make you think or stump you? I think there's definitely some curveball questions that come up. It's all of that stuff, to be honest, Stuart. So with any luck, I might have the opportunity to interview Jamie Pinnell's sweetheart, or his wife, who's got a heck of a lot of experience in some pretty incredible and inspiring stories herself. If people haven't seen her interview on the Between Two Beers podcast, should check that out. But yeah, I'll be catching up with Jamie first, I believe. If he sees this video, then I've already messaged him anyway, saying, "Hey, listen, I'm mindful of your ladies' experience and inspiring stories and journeys and that sort of stuff. I was going to wait till I'm, catch up with you in person, when just prior to him and I doing a walk and talk interview, and then hit him up and go, would it be all right? And then if he's all good, then I'll, ask his wife and say, hey, could I do a walk and talk interview with you, on a day and time that suits your schedule, and get some insights from her. And so there's some stuff in there that, she may not be able to talk about. But I think she's obviously highly intelligent and smart enough to be able to articulate things in a way that protects the unit and what they do. At the end of the day, she may say no. So, and that's all good too. But yeah, are they trying to get to? Yeah, they're trying to understand who you are, for sure. What makes you tick, and there will be more than likely curveball questions that will get thrown to individuals, and so that's something. Oh, and thank you, Stuart, as well. I just seen the super chat. Sorry, and there will be. Like I mentioned some stuff on a written form that I spoke about, but I won't go into like stuff that they may speak to you about in detail verbally, for obvious reasons, because I think there's an element, well, not an element, there's stuff to do with selection that anybody that's looking to go on it needs to show that they can adapt on the fly, that they can think quickly on their feet, that they can respond appropriately, that they can read the situation well, and and I wouldn't say that that's something that I thought I was capable of. Well, not to that deep, not to the level or the detail that I'm describing here. That's not something that I thought about and thought, oh man, I need to be able to read a situation well. I need to be able to think quickly on my feet. I need to be able to respond, in some sort of coherent way that makes sense and that's relevant to the question that I'm being asked. Man, I wonder what they're going to ask me. Yeah, I wonder what they might ask me. But those other things that I just spoke about, that's not where my head was as a 20-year-old. My head wasn't thinking about all of that level of detail that I could be questioned on. I knew about the psych assessment, face-to-face, verbal, sit down, and written. And my approach was just, I'm going to answer these questions honestly. And I don't think you can go wrong with that, as simple as it may sound. I don't think anybody can go wrong with that approach. You go in to your assessments, to your career, to your job, to do a good job as well as you can, and you look to perform it as honestly or to the best of your ability and as honestly as you can. And if you're getting grilled or interrogated or questioned, you answer those honestly. Obviously, resistance to interrogation is a different thing. Some might say, well, you've got to learn to lie, don't you? No, it's not. To me, it's not about learning to lie. It's about not giving the truth. It's about not giving the information. Some might say, well, if it's not giving the truth, how is that not lying? Well, it's because I'm not answering that question. I'm sticking to the process. Name, rank, serial number, date of birth, ICAT-Q. I can't answer that question when you're going through that process, because if you do, potentially other people's lives will be lost because you've divulged that information. Can people hold out indefinitely? Probably not. Thankfully, I never had to go through that for real to see how long I could last. the training was enough to put me off, like to give me a clear understanding. Okay, I don't want that to ever happen to me. But if it does, well, at that stage, it would have been a case of, well, suck it. That's what you signed up for. So now it's time to, all that training and stuff would have had to have, hopefully would have come back into play, and you would have had to have, I would have had to, or people that have had to do it would have to apply it. But I can't answer that question. Name, rank, serial number, date of birth is all I'm required to give. So to me, that's not lying. Here's my name. Here's my rank. Here's my regimental number. This is my date of birth. Anything else, everything else, I can't answer that question. So as far as I know, that hasn't changed in the process. But yeah, where was I going with that? In regards to your question on the selection, that's right. I think there's things that, you don't get shown all the cards before you rock up on a selection course, and I don't think you should. Hence why I've spoken openly about what I love about the Delta Force, not knowing bugger all about the Delta Force selection, me personally. The fact that there's no documentary out about it, not that I'm aware of. The fact that former operators never go into a lot of detail about it. I think there's one, I forget his name. He's been on the Sean Ryan show, he's been on the Mulligan Brothers show. He did a video about 13 minutes where he does actually speak a little bit more, in more detail than I've ever heard about the Delta Force selection, but it's still very vague. It's not a day-by-day account. You don't know how long the selection goes for. You don't know what specific tasks. You know that there's navigation, and you know that there's a long walk, or that there's several long walks, and you don't know when it ends. That's it. You don't know what the running requirements are, what the pack marching speed requirements are, what the swim requirements are, what the body weight requirements are from body weight movements, pull-ups, push-ups, etc. I assume they have other things. You don't know what sort of tasks they do to constantly break the person down physically, mentally. Like you look at New Zealand and Australia, we've got bloody documentaries on it. So it's in the UK. I don't know if there's a full documentary on it, but there are people like Big Phil Campion that have given a really nice outline of what that looks like, from the hills and the aptitude to the jungle to this to that to the other over that 6-month period in broader terms. But it's still, like, I've not come across anything like that in regards to Delta or even Dev Group. Like, is that Green Team, Dev Group? DJ Shipley's old crew anyway. Navy SEALs, you've got a documentary on, so people may think that Dev Group and Delta Force do that same sort of stuff. From what I've heard and from what I imagine, no, it doesn't seem like it. There may be some similarities, but yeah, I think there's value in candidates going on to selection not knowing everything. Yeah, even some of the people that I work with, I don't divulge everything. I'll talk about things in a roundabout, more sort of still generalized sort of way. But I think they understand, and I try to share that with them, is that, you need to, they'll want to see, and you need to know in and of yourself that you can react and respond and handle the stuff that's going to get thrown at you, just like off the cuff, So I think there's value in that for people. So appreciate your question, Stuart. Yes, there are curveballs. They may be there to stump you or not. I've never been a psychologist in the unit, but I do assume, and looking back, that there probably are questions to get a gauge of, I don't know, to see how quickly you think on your feet. Anyway, hopefully that helps answer that, bro. And again, thank you for the, looks like a super chat donation. Appreciate you, man. Thanks. Another one, got to give you that super chat. 4%. Okay, I just seen that. Thank you. Vanilla Butcher, good afternoon, Joe. Hey, good afternoon once again. Appreciate you stop, or anybody else. I don't know if there's anybody else in here, but anyway, those are the things in there in the chat. Yeah, coming on here, answering those questions earlier. Apologies if this live is broken up into 2 or 3 different videos online. It's just, yeah, the bloody technical difficulties and the need to try to answer the questions that came through. A couple of questions that came through about selection. A question that came through about shubs. I went off on a Blinken Tipi Haere journey in and around my take on the gaps and the flaws in the systems that are supposedly there to try to help people succeed, to improve the cost of living, to improve and make healthcare accessible to people, to make housing accessible and affordable for people, etc., etc. I'm no anybody that's watched my channel or followed my channel or listens to me speak knows that I have no clue and that I'm no expert at all on any of that stuff. I'm an armchair critic. I'm an armchair observer, looking at, listening to, and reacting to stuff that gets sent through. But hopefully, who knows where things will be in the next few weeks, months, dare I say years, as the stuff that I was just talking about, hopefully have an opportunity to meet with other people that are far more educated and have a lot more understanding of those processes. And even just starting, like where to start sounds like so much. Like you just need to start, and you just need to start in one place and then go from there. Whether that's looking at the funding process or a tendering process or where the money, I would love to know how and where. Like I see bits and pieces. Let me try to give a bit of an example here. I don't know exactly how much money is being pumped into or given to different iwi around Aotearoa. And the fact that there is money being given to iwi, I think that's awesome. Like wicked, expecting, trusting that those iwi are going to, look to basically fertilize their land, fertilize their people, the areas where they are, like different iwi all over the different places. Cool, awesome. The concern that I have, and which Shubs raises, is that it seems like things are built by Māori, and the other catchphrase to that slogan is by Māori for Māori. But what seems to be getting highlighted is that it's, by Māori in some cases, but only for some Māori, and that's, I think, is the part and maybe the points of contention whereby Shubs has probably struck a nerve, and people that maybe, because I would have thought that iwi, if they've got nothing to hide, if they are above board, if they're tika and pono, following all their tikanga and all that sort of stuff, the values that they have, that they express, which I think are great values. But if they're doing that stuff, well then, why would you be upset or annoyed or angry with anybody asking questions, or with anybody presenting, a view, whether it's right or wrong, especially if it's wrong, and they're presenting and going, hey, this, and this, why would you get upset about that? Would you not rather and or instead just go, hey, actually, appreciate you sharing that, would be interested to know where you got that information from, but actually, why I say that is because everything you've just shared there, Shubs, is completely wrong. Like, here's our books here. Here's how the process works. Here's the actual amount that came in. Here's where that money went to. Here's who it went to. Shubs calls out stuff around, they might have that stuff in place, but it's going to, and I don't know, so don't quote me on this. I'm not saying that this is what's happening. I'm saying that this is the sort of stuff that Shubs is sharing. And so that interests me. It's saying it's going to auntie here and uncle there and cousin here and nephew there and niece there and, family members. So hence why when he talks about by Māori for some Māori, or when I've heard other people share that comments as well, I think that's the part that maybe strikes a nerve with people. I've got no issue with family members working in, if they're part of the iwi and they're helping support and it's funneling out to actually help the rest of your people, like I said, fertilize your land and the people that are in that area, lifting them up, etc. Kate to quiet, like go hard. Employ your son, your daughter, your niece, your nephew, your auntie, your uncle, if they can do the job. Like if they're doing the job that you're employing them to do, go for it, right? If they're not doing a job that they're supposed to do, or if they're bloody humbug at it, don't employ them. If at the same time, if you don't need a person in that role to do that job, and that money could be better spent on other projects, maybe, I don't know, addressing homelessness, maybe getting kai for people, helping with education, with helping teach people to become self-reliant, helping, and I'll get to where I'm going with this, helping families or young or youth or whatever. Like there's a massive list of things that could be used, right? And I'm not saying that iwi aren't doing those things. So coming back, an example here. I'm not an expert in what Ngāti Toa, Te Runanga o Ngāti Toa Rangatira are doing, but from what I've seen, they're involved in a number of really good projects. Yeah, have they got a lot of family members in Ngāti Toa working? Of course they do. And again, I don't care. Like, it could be a non-Māori organisation and they've got their family members working there. I couldn't care less. If they're doing the job well, bloody go for it. Awesome. And they're helping people, go for it. So family members aside, like, I got no issue with that, just as long as they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. But from what I've seen here in Ngāti Toa, at least in this area, man, they've got a like a I don't know what you call it, a mini supermarket, like a welfare supermarket where people can go, point system, I think, and they can actually do a shop for necessities of what they may need for their farming, for their homes. I don't know what the process is. I think you got to reach out to Ngāti Toa and then, you know, get a day and time where you can go up there, etc., and go through. It's not a big, massive thing, but it's within a nice big warehouse. It's a section of it. Hope with any luck it'll grow bigger and bigger. And it caters to members of this community, members who need it. I like to think it's members who need it that are going there. And again, that it's not members who don't need it that are just looking to rot the system and save themselves a few dollars. And in the process, whereby there may be people doing that, are disadvantaging even further people that actually need that sort of support. So Ngāti Toa is doing stuff like that. Ngāti Toa have got like a young mums program that I'm aware of that they do, where they've got people, I don't know how many people, but they've got a little team that go out, help try to support them. I don't know what the funding, like the monetary things are towards that. There's a number of donations and stuff that happen in that food little space, the mini supermarket space for the community. Social supermarket, I think, is what it might be called. And it's, oh bloody hell, I forget the Māori name for it. But it's like it's a social supermarket anyway. It's like a Kibosh, or maybe not like Kibosh. That's a bit different. Maybe like Wellington City Mission is probably the closest thing. But I haven't been into Wellington City Mission. I've just heard bits and pieces about it. So it sounds pretty similar. So they've got that. They've got housing projects happening here, as far as I'm aware, in Porirua. I don't know how many houses, but there's clearly money that the Runanga is using from the money that they've received to put into projects into the community. And there's likely a whole bunch of other things. I know that they participate in community things, voluntary, the workers get together, anybody else that wants to help, and they clean up the Paru Moana area and removing it of rubbish. And I think they do that at different times. I think they look to get involved in other community activities. I think they were involved in the Orange Sky launch with the mobile laundry and showers for people that are living on the streets. So, you know, they're supporting a lot of initiatives is what I'm getting at. And that's great to see. Could more be done? Like, I don't know what else more could be done. I don't know what their dollar figures are and that sort of thing. That's, you know, that's not something that I'm interested in personally, because I'm not looking to try to, I may be indirectly benefiting from the stuff that, you know, the Runanga does. And I probably am. Like, if they're building houses and trying to improve quality of life and help people and lift people up in the area, awesome. That's clearly, I think, got to have a flow-on effect in a positive way to the area in which you live. So I may be indirectly benefiting from that. You know, maybe it's just less crime, or I don't know, the potholes on the road getting fixed. I don't know if they're contributing towards that. There's some bloody terrible roads here in Wellington, to be honest, in New Zealand across the board. But anyway, there's what Shubs gets at and leans into and highlights is that it seems like and sounds like that there may be some iwi or organizations, or dare I say political parties, that may not be as tika and pono as the public may be led to believe. And I'm no expert in that space. I don't know, like I said, but it's a space that I'm interested in looking at, learning and understanding a bit more, and trying to connect the dots between why is your iwi spent nearly $1 million on this website? Like, did it cost $700,000 or whatever? Like, really? Is that how much it costs to build a website these days? Because I just built a website using AI for like $40 a month. And it didn't even cost me that much, and it didn't take that long. And I had to make multiple tweaks, etc., etc. Like, why? Yeah, it just doesn't add up, given the state of play and what's available today and all that sort of stuff. Must be a blinking incredible website for just under $1 million. You'd want to hope it is anyway. So anyway, yeah, to Shubs, I like what he's doing. I haven't seen all his content, so no doubt there's probably some content on there of his that I may not like. Just as there's likely content on my channel that people don't like. You know, people have the freedom and the choice to follow or unfollow, or subscribe or unsubscribe, and yeah, nobody's stopping you. I think finally, in terms of Shubs' stuff, all well and good for those that might feel the same way, or maybe as passionate about what Shubs does, but maybe like me are like, I can't be bothered looking into that. Sounds like too much work. And don't get me wrong, I reckon it would be a lot of work, but it's not like I have to consume myself with that type of focus on that type of thing every day. It's not something that I want to do anyway. I'm not going to go to that level of just wrapping up my day and drilling into that sort of thing, unless that was something that I was really passionate about doing. But it's not. I enjoy doing my reactions. I enjoy and am about to enjoy and am enjoying preparing for the walk and talk interviews that I'll be doing with people. Had a few more confirm as well. Rob Maylor is another fella, ex-Aussie SAS guy. Haven't caught up with him for years. We did some courses together. I think he was on the same selection and cycle as RS. So that's our connection and stuff like that. And with a couple of courses that we did during that time, but we went to different squadrons, and he went on, served multiple tours and stuff like that during the global war on terror and that as well. And he's doing some other stuff which I won't get into. I'll let him speak about that. I think he's got a book out as well, so I'll have to grab that to go along with these other books that I've got here. I just went to go looking for them the other day, and I managed to find some of them. I still can't find the other book from Paul Wood, but I've got his How to Escape from Prison book. Mark Wales, Survivor, Dr. Dan Prunk and Ben Prunk, and Tim Curtis, The Resilience Shield, Bravo 30, Des Powell, and Damian Lewis, and Moth and the 11 Bats. Got a book from Kobe, got an All Black book as well, Legacy. Yeah, they've got a few books. No, I haven't read all of them. Anybody that's followed me knows that I've openly shared that I'm not a big reader. But if there's something that I'm interested in, something that I'm wanting to poke holes at and try to find out how, where, and why these things weren't either A, anticipated, or B, why they're not being addressed, i.e. gaps in policy procedures where people are rotting the system, regardless of which organization it is, probably primarily government, and maybe as we go down the line and as I find out more and speak with more guests in different areas from some of the local MPs and that as well, picking their brains, I'll no doubt learn more. And maybe that might cause a bit more of an interest and a bit more of a drive into that space, just to get an understanding and then share it and go, hang on, that doesn't look right. That doesn't sound right. Like, what's been done about it? You know, how are we plugging that gap? How are we rectifying it? Okay, that sounds good. Why is it taking so long? You've just lost millions and millions of dollars, and now you're saying we're going to do these things, which look great. There doesn't appear to be any clear reason as to why you can't implement it, other than got to wait for the next advisory meeting, which is going to be another 6 months, 12 months, 18 months away or whatever. In the meantime, those gaps are still there. Those holes are still there. The opportunities for people to defraud or rot the system are still available, and it's likely going to continue to happen. So why not fix it sooner rather than later? Anyway, yeah, I'm genuinely excited about not only that small portion, but more so the guests that I'll have the opportunity to speak with. Yep, some military, some non-military, some controversial, maybe seen as controversial, some non-controversial, I guess, some strength athletes and endurance athletes and that sort of thing, you know. So just really, yeah, looking forward to that and delving into that. Doing the walk and talk. The reason for the walk and talk, people have asked, has been that was inspired by finally getting around to doing a reaction to the Jay Cowell and DJ Shipley Paint Me a Picture video. If anybody hasn't seen that, go see that. The only thing I think during my reaction on that I didn't like was just the camera seemed like to move up and down quite a bit, whereas the Insta360 is what that seems to have anyway, the stabilization in it. So hopefully that won't be as bad. The quality may not be as good because I'll just be holding the selfie stick myself as we walk and talk with the person. You know, I don't have a camera person to do that. Drone, somebody did suggest a drone, and that could just follow along or be in front. Possibility, we'll see how we go. But again, I think the other thing with that is just battery life. So carrying a external power pack or whatever, extra batteries, yeah, could do that. That's an option. We'll see how we go. I'm going to start with the selfie stick and the Insta360 anyway, and yeah, and go from there. So yeah, excited about that. Just the hearing people's experiences, and hopefully I can draw unique stuff out, particularly from people that have already been interviewed, right? Like Jamie Pinnell's got an incredible story. He's done a lot of media and interviews. He's got some exciting stuff coming up. I won't delve into that. It may come out in due course, or it may come out before him and I connect during the next school term break. But either way, it'll come out, but I won't mention anything here. So yeah, trying to weave into not only some of the other stuff, but it means me doing a little bit more research and homework on the guests and that as well, and looking to try to find things, discover things about the guest that I think people might be interested in hearing. Got some people that feel, you know, maybe a little bit uncertain as to whether or not they've got a very or a particularly interesting story to tell, and I get that, but I think that's one. I think that's untrue for starters. So I think everybody's got an interesting story to tell, and or at least parts of their story that are likely more interesting than others. Like, I think that's just standard. Everybody, all of us have got parts of our journey that are more interesting than others. So leaning into that is fine, but also just the understanding and being able to create that connection that, oh man, that fella's like just a normal fella, or that lady's just a normal Sheila or chick, whatever term you want to use, just a normal female, normal woman. Maybe people that what is a woman debate and what is a man. Yeah, man, if there's people that I end up speaking to that have that conversation, we can have that conversation. Like I've always said, there's only two genders, male and female, and based on the biological makeup of how you are born is what you are. If you want to go and have a sex change and have all the surgeries and stuff to change yourself to be biologically something else, or the other gender or the opposite gender, then go for it. That's up to you. But it doesn't change the fact to me that there are two genders, male and female. Some people don't like that. I don't particularly care. You can have your opinion. I don't like that opinion. And again, you won't particularly care about mine. So, agreeing to disagree and just carrying on, crack on with whatever it is that you feel that you need to do, and just do it to the best of your ability. So, yeah, was it Jamie, Rob, Janaya, Cam, oh bloody hell, or Shubs, the bro Troy, which people don't know much about. They may do if they've seen some of Shubs' stuff. Just unreal story, and stuff of what he's doing now, what he's planning on doing. And Troy and I discovered we got a little bit in common too. Like at the time when I met him, he was in the middle of a trade gold. Yeah, he was in the middle of a trading gold, and he was on a buy, he was on a long, and it was close to hitting his take profit. So, there's a little bit of a connection there. We can talk a little bit about that. He's been doing it a lot longer than me. But it was just interesting when he come in and put his phone down. I saw the screen straight away, and he had the chart open. He did say, even though he's been doing it longer than me, it's surprising that he's, he just finds it. He's open about it. Says he finds it just addictive, like being on the charts. Whereas I've not been doing it long. I found it addictive when I was learning, like getting an understanding, just seeing how the charts move. looking for that structure, looking at the different time frames, doing top-down analysis and all that sort of stuff, then entering in on trades. But I'm at the stage where I actually enjoy not looking at the charts and just being super comfortable. Working, like I'll do the Asia session, Asia overlap in London, and then London, US. And those are the times where I look to get on and trade or have a look at the charts. I might just out of boredom have a look at it at the Asia session or something else, or when I'm not actually in a trade, just to have a look. But otherwise, when I've done all of those things, the top downs, and had a look, and if I can see what I'm looking for, I've set some alerts if things aren't where I'd like them to be, but I can see points of interest or key areas of interest where I expect price to go to. And then I set an alarm, and if an alarm goes off, then I'll have a look, unless I'm potentially in a live or doing a video. For me, it's just a massive amount of added freedom and less complication and stress. Like, don't get me wrong, I was like down into the minute having a look. Again, I haven't been trading long, but when I was getting into it, like right into it, I'm only getting into it now. When I was right into it, like early on, and had a live account, it was, I'd say, I was obsessive and borderline probably addicted just to watching the charts all day and bloody get some toothpicks to keep my bloody eyeballs open and staring at the screen. But I'm glad that I realized pretty quickly, I think some of that on my own, but then some of that and just watching some of the educational stuff that Rihari Carroll has put out on his platform in and around the psychology, then seeing the other stuff on YouTube with different people sharing, like highly successful traders sharing the same similar messages about the psychology and working on high time frames. Stop being obsessive over it and being in the charts, getting stuck in the weeds, 1 minute, 30 second, 15 second. There are people that do that successfully, and that's, good on them. Watch some of the stuff on the Titans of Tomorrow podcast, I think it is. Very smart guy who has a whole bunch of other guests that come on there that are very successful in the trading space, and just listening to that, not even sitting down watching them, just listening to it as I walk around with the headphones in. And it's just, I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Tom Kemp, I think, is another guy that I follow. I was like, yeah, this stuff makes a lot of sense. Yeah, why should I be? The whole reason I'm doing the trading is to have more time, is to try to generate some income without sacrificing and giving all my time away. So yeah, it was just like, yeah, true, bloody hell. Yeah, and this 1 minute, 30 second, a lot of noise in that space, a lot of noise in that time frame. A number of people can make it work. I had some wins in that space, but I had more losses in that space being on the small time frames. For an entry, I might look to drop down to these days as low as a 5 minute and look to do an entry at a 5 minute. I haven't done any entries for several weeks now on a 1 minute or 3 minute time frames. Just my entries have been at a 5 minute, monthly check, weekly check, daily check, 4 hour, 1 hour, 30 minute, 15 minute, and 5 minute for the entry. So those are the time frames that I look at. Some people might go, oh, bloody hell, that's a lot of time frames to be navigating through. But you see different things, and you see some of the things that you're expecting to see on some of those different time frames. And then I use the lower time frame, the 5 minute, to look for an entry, to get hopefully a better entry for a trade. So yeah, just interesting seeing Troy being in the middle of that trade. he was on the screen a fair bit, and I was like, and that's when he said, yeah, it's quite addictive. And I was like, I just felt I felt really happy. I just felt glad that I was like, because I've stopped trading on a Monday as an example, and I haven't been trading really on a Friday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, like today as an example, is when I'll have a look at the markets and do my analysis. That's the term that gets used, and then mark up my charts, set some alarms, and then be on the charts at those times on those overlaps. Tokyo, New York, Tokyo, London, London, New York. And other than that, and then the time is my own to do this sort of stuff and do some reaction videos after, get some more training in, and plan and prepare for the interviews. I've got to keep remembering to say that now. It's like that's a big part of the day too now. Making time for those who I'm lucky enough to meet with is just sort of BAU. Nothing's really changed there. So lucky enough to catch up with the people that I catch up with who, who are kind enough to pay a fee to spend some of their time with me, and whereby I try to hopefully provide some value and help them on specific parts of what they're working on and what they're doing. And so pretty much, not as cruisy as what things were. Like, I was still busy, but like I said, I was comfortable. Like, get up, train, check the charts, mark the charts, do some reactions, do some lives, do the Q&A, do some more training, relax. Like, now that the added part of doing walks and talks and booking people, reaching out to people, getting confirmation, working out dates and times, looking at my schedule, understanding, okay, I'm going to drive up to Auckland this weekend, Friday, interview Saturday, drive back here Saturday night, interview Sunday with Janaya over in the huts probably somewhere, or wherever he decides he wants to go for a walk. Maybe it'll be a walk along one of the running routes that he does. Who knows? Come back, got some more people to then plan and prepare for. There may even be some interviews this week, before the end of this week, so before Friday. Just waiting to hear back from a couple of people. So it's that adds another level of what's the word? Another level of hustle and work, which is exciting. It's cool. Like, I'm looking forward to it. I'm under no illusion that it's going to be the work, not only the logistics and admin to travel. Yeah, there's some cost and stuff in there involved in that, but there's cost in anything. Time cost, financial cost, blank, and sleep cost, whole bunch of stuff. But I'm just very excited about doing that. And then the time to review, edit, upload, schedule, and then roll on to the next and the next and the next. And I just think to myself, again, sorry, I thought I was finished talking about Shubs, but I'm not. That fella's doing 6, sometimes more, interviews a day, every day, Monday to Friday at least. Saturday, Sunday, I believe he's still doing some, so I think it is every day. And those interviews could be an hour, 2 hours. That's why I think, like, I'm not anticipating at all to get to that stage. Like, he's on radio, right? So the need for consistency and constant content for radio, like, that's next level to me running my little YouTube channel. So I don't have those same requirements from a audience engagement provision perspective. Whereas on radio, I assume you do, or he does. So I've got a lot more opportunity. I can take the time to edit stuff, hopefully get better in the process, and then upload those things. Plus the travel and all that sort of thing. Like, he's still traveling and doing things as well. But he can, that's a lot of time, I think, sitting down, just like here, like me sitting down talking here. Like, this is a long time sitting down for people, for me included, but I enjoy it, so I have an opportunity. But if I'm going to be doing interviews, I don't want to be doing them sitting down. I want to be out and about, walking around. There's something about that. It's up, it's active, it's moving around, it's getting fresh air in. Ideally, I'm asking the guests to choose an area for us to go for our hikoi and kōrero, or walk and talk. Maybe they choose a place that's important or special to them. Maybe it's a place where they grew up. Maybe it's a place where they, got up to mischief, were a little bit of a tutu. Maybe it's a place where they first met their sweetheart, or whatever. People have got these connections to places of where they are, where they live, whether that's where they were born, or there's usually a lot of connections there, or whether it's just a place where they've now resided and they call home. And I think that's another interesting feel to it, or hook, when you're walking and talking with somebody from an area that they have a connection with, and they're sharing some of their story. And then my job's pretty simple. I just need to, obviously, apart from arriving on time and prepare, but I just need to try to set the scene, provide context and or set the stage and provide context, give ask the question, or on a series of, or on a topic or a series of topics. So that's the first part. So set the stage, ask the questions basically, or ask the question. Then let them flow. Let them run with how it is that they want to respond for as long or as little as they like. And then my job, the other part of my job after that, after letting them run, is just pay attention, listen for the most part, and then try to support where those moments are, where they've, you know, spoken what they want to, or said what they want to say about what it is that they're talking about. Support those areas, and then chime in with another stage setting, scene setting, context setting question, which may link some of the stuff that they just spoke about, as well as, you know, other things that I might have picked up on in their earlier reply, or just stuff that I've done based on research. So I'm looking forward to it. What I really liked, so, you know, acknowledging DJ and his conduct of the Paint Me a Picture with Jay Cal, was people that have reached out, and people that I've spoken to that have watched that, and similar to me, people could, particularly military people, it felt like they could picture what Jay was talking about. I could picture a lot of things of what Jay was talking about. Obviously, some things and some of the terminology and technology and stuff that they had, I couldn't quite picture that because I didn't have that. But by and large, you know, I could had a good understanding of what it was that he was talking about, and it was just cool to hear. It made me think about the guys again. It made me think about the little quirks that we would have, the OCD and checking things before going out, the conversations that would be had, the orders being given, being out on the jobs, etc. So it brought back a lot of those sort of thoughts as I was sitting there listening to him. And so with any luck, you know, I can be a quarter of as good as what DJ was in terms of keeping my mouth closed when the guest is speaking, like setting the stage first and then allowing the person to be able to delve into that, and then chime in as and when I need to, but preferably not too frequently. I don't imagine that we will get, I don't know that we'll get through everything that at least I have planned, or topics that I'd love to ask them in my head. But the beauty about that is that even if we don't, so say we're walking for an hour or 2 hours or longer, and my battery goes dead or whatever, or they've got other things to do as well. Their timing, like they let me know, listen, I can give 2 hours. We'll get what we can done in 2 hours. And then with any luck, if that goes well, then I go back and catch up with them again at another time and get more of the story and just layer that in. So you might see some guests regularly occur over a period of time, because, you know, I don't know how you can get through even half of somebody's story in 2, 3, 4, 5 or more hours. Especially doing the long form content that I'll be doing, and wanting them to, you know, take their time to talk about and explain whatever topics they are addressing at their time. So it's yeah, lots to it, lots of work, time, but it's time well spent, I think, at least for me. And then hopefully with people that might want to stop by and have a listen to these people's stories and their experiences and their journey. Hopefully it's beneficial for them as well, which would be cool. Sorry, bloody hell, there's been some Vanilla Butcher. 3 nuts. G'day, Joe. Us Aussies need another Mr. Magoo review. Mr. Magoo. That is a good call, all right. Yeah, I haven't been, not that I'm aware of, not unless somebody sent some stuff now, but I haven't seen any recent links to come through, but I may have a look, because it is quite frustrating. I think I want to have a look for so Mr. Magoo over in Oz, Albo. If anybody knows of, I'm going to do a search for it anyway, but if anybody knows of a compilation of Albanese's lies that have been strung together, I'm sure there's some bloody nifty little clever social media person out there that's done that. The Aussie Man Reviews, I'm surprised he hasn't. He could do a voiceover on that all day, I reckon. He probably doesn't need to do a voiceover, but I reckon he'd have some colourful language to express and share in terms of his thoughts about the government, I'm sure. But yeah, I'll have a look at that. Mr. Magoo, Buck, morning Joe, just been carrying out IA and stoppage drills with the mop and mop bucket cleaning the house. Yeah, funny what we can find these days to keep ourselves occupied and then call a stoppage on. I had a stoppage on some guitar strings the other day. I haven't had a stoppage on a mop bucket for, well, I don't know that I've carried out a stoppage drill on a mop bucket drill at all, but it's good to hear that you have. Cheers for stopping by, bro. 11 Bats is a fantastic read. Well, listen on audio while you're driving. Yeah, that's a good point, eh? Like, just listen to the stuff. Like, actually, yeah, let me grab these. People have asked. Oh, I don't even know if people can hear me. People have asked. What's my book collection like? I wouldn't say that a book collection. This is the letter that I received. Actually, this was a book that I got sent from a martial arts guy down in the South Island. Is this what it? Yeah, it is too. Anyway, oh, what happened? Let's grab these ones. Up, down. This isn't a excuse me. This isn't a flex by any means. This is just to highlight how bloody useless I am at not reading. Got all these great books and I'm bloody not doing them justice by reading them. So I've read actually parts of this. Des Powell's book, Bravo 30. Where did I mark where I got up to? I think I've read the first couple of chapters, the introduction. Like it's pretty. It's got a great hook right at the start. Des jumps straight into the thick of it in terms of some of the action, for want of a better term, is happening. So Bravo 30. What I've read of it so far, which isn't even half of it, was great. But yeah, again, like sitting down reading a book has never really been my jam. From Paul Wood, Dr. Paul Wood, How to Escape from Prison. I think this is the one he wrote something in here. Yeah, so bloody hell, look at this. To Joe, glad to have crossed paths and looking forward to a cordial best. And there's me, bloody haven't gotten back to the guy yet. So Paul, my apologies, brother. I will reach out to you. I have got you on my list. I've seen you on Instagram, so I'll be sending you a message. Hopefully he'll forgive me and we can go and have a chat, a walk and talk. And I believe he's here in Wellington too. So got Mark Wales. So people have suggested I catch up with him. I've met Mark. I don't know him super well, but have met him. He's a good man. My interactions with him. He's doing awesome things on social media. So I've got his book. Again, another one of these things that I haven't read. I don't even think I've started reading any of that. Useless, eh? Sorry, Walesy. I got this, The Resilience Shield, Ben Pronk, Dan Pronk, and Tim Curtis. There's the lads there on the back. I think they got their own podcast and stuff as well. Again, I haven't read this, but I have read some of it. Actually, oh, look at that. I've got it actually marked where I've read up to. So I've read up to a whopping page 25. Dog-eared the corner, and I've done some underlining as well of things in here. I can't remember what did I underline here? That could otherwise have been a really rewarding part of our lives. What did I underline before that? When we can't find the perfect solution to a complex problem, like a relationship with a partner, it can feel like the situation is hopeless and we may end up walking away from something that could otherwise have been a really rewarding part of our lives. I'm pretty sure I underlined that for a number of reasons. One would have been from my time in the NZ after cycle here, would have been after Australia and walking away from there. So this would have been one of those reflective moments that I would have seen in this book. And I've gone, yeah, bloody hell, done that. And there would have been times where thankfully I didn't walk away, but we come close to, relationship challenges were between my wife and I. So yeah, there have been things that have stuck out in different things, different areas. So yeah, haven't read much of that, but yeah, to the lads, to the boys that have put time and effort into their to-do list, or what did you say, Buckaroo? Audio book. In the Company of Heroes. This book here from Black Hawk Down. What's the name? Michael J. Durant with Stephen Hartov. In the Company of Heroes. You'll have Randy Schuchgard and Gary Gordon, Medal of Honor recipients. The lads in the movie that request permission to head down on the ground to go save and secure the area. And then at the same time, they saved Michael Durant, who I think has been on the Sean Ryan show as well. And they lost their lives in the process. So, yeah, cool book. I have actually read, or I've read a lot of that book because I've had that book for a while, a lot longer than the others. Where are we? 11 Bats, Mr. Moffat. Buck said it's a great book. Yeah, so interviewed Moff a long time ago and his sweetheart, his wife, Danielle. Got his book. Sorry, Moff, I haven't read your book either. I have read some of it, I'll be honest. And I have gone through and had a look at some of the images and photos and stuff in here, which has been cool. Like some of, he's got some nice little segments and stuff in that, pictures and in his book anyway. But I haven't read it, but I have read bits and pieces of it. So I see your other one, The Fourth Pillar, is out. I've got to get Jamie's book, so I will get a copy of Jamie Pinnell's book. Not from Jamie. I don't expect to get one from Jamie. I'll blink and get one of those myself. Support the bro and the work that he's put in and the stories and stuff that are in there. But I haven't read his book yet. I don't have a copy of that yet, but I'll look to get one. I got sent this book, Black Dove by Stuart Campbell. So shout out Stuart Campbell. Don't know if you're still following Black Dove. Martial arts guy. Sorry, bro, I haven't read this book yet either. I say I haven't read this book yet, like I'm going to sit down and just magically start reading all these books. People are like, yeah, no, you're not. So they're sort of, at least they're not all dusty. You know? What did he say? So he actually sent me a note with that book. Hi, Joe, hope you and your family are well. Been following your videos and admire your Shugoyu grit. To keep going, even with the current goings on. Here is a gift of my first novel, Black Dove, that I wanted to write to dispel a lot of the myths around the real operations and mindset of the ninja and to protect the true mindset of these shadow warriors. For my students, this could be considered a training manual, as everything that is in here and employed from a strategy perspective and principles are reflected in our training. That's pretty cool. I hope you enjoy this work. And again, many thanks for having me on your podcast and giving me the opportunity to speak on my passion for the martial arts. So unfortunately, I wasn't on that podcast during the epic one. I believe my brother-in-law conducted the interview. It had some stuff come up which I couldn't sit in on that one. And then he signs off. So yeah, pretty cool. I've kept his letter, or his message, his note, with the book, and you know, after reading that, I should bloody pull my finger out and read this book and all these other books actually. So thank you, Stu. Appreciate it. Haven't forgotten and haven't discarded it. Not regifting it. I will be keeping it, and I just need to take action and read it. James Kerr, Legacy, All Blacks. Cool book. I've actually read quite a lot of this book. Have I marked where I'm up to? Thought I had. No, clearly I haven't. But I've read a lot of stuff in here in terms of the content. It goes into quite a lot of good detail about the culture and some of the expectation standards and stuff that they have and what they were looking to do. And it's got some really cool little, I suppose, things that you can apply. Quotes, not only quotes, but tools that you can apply, because this person spent a lot of time in the environment with the All Blacks, James Kerr, and getting an inside look. So cool little book. People have had, I don't know where I got this from. I think I might have taken this from my bro, Jared Morgan, over in Perth. Simon Sinek, Start With Why. I think I saw this at his place. And I think I might have taken this from them. Sorry, bro. Eddie, Jared, if you're looking for your Start With Why book, Simon Sinek, here it is. Why I would have taken it when I'm not a big reader is sorry. It's just been sat here. I have not read all of this book. I have actually read some of it, but not all of it. Definitely not even half of it. And this book was nice and easy to read. I've actually read this book. You'll be surprised, but it's not. Well, I didn't think it's that long. It's about 90 to 100 odd pages. Kobe, Life Lessons from a Legend. This little thing. Yeah, it's not. I didn't think it was very long, so it was within my wheelhouse anyway to read. That's some of the books that I found. There's the Atomic Building, Atomic Habits book is somewhere. That's actually my son's book, but he left it, and I don't know where it is now. So yeah, got some audio books to listen to. Eh? Dun, dun, dun. I know you mentioned Dale Fry being an absolute machine. Yes, Dale. I need to reach out to him. I haven't reached out to him yet. I'm not even sure if he's still here in NZ these days. I believe he last time I spoke with him, which would have been 2021 or 2022, a few years ago anyway. Last time I spoke with him, he was getting ready to move back overseas. So whether or not he is overseas now, I don't know. Dale Fry being an absolute machine. Yes, he was on your selection, especially during Bontemsky. Yes, he was. I had a good laugh when you mentioned he said we have to keep up like 10 or 12 hours in. Yeah, bloody crazy man. Yeah, that is what the staff said. Keep up, stop falling behind. And he's like, we're telling him bloody slow down because we're hurting, man. we're struggling. We're trying to keep up with him. We weren't trying to keep up with the staff, but the challenge with that is the difficulty with that is that he was looking to keep up with the staff. So naturally, we need to try to keep up with him. And he's on 2 jerry cans, so it doesn't look good if the person with 2 jerry cans in his pack and his weapon and his rifle is at the front, just behind or trying to keep up with the directing staff, and the rest of us are sprawled out at the back with just 1 jerry can and our pack and weapon and rifle. So the need to try to get that fella off the jerry cans sooner rather than later was priority 1. Bloody bugger. To flip it around, were there any dudes on the selections you did where you thought, bro, there's no way he'll finish? Yep. With the condition they were in, but ended up making it all the way through. Hang on. What's this? To flip it around, were there any dudes on the selections you did where you thought, bro, there's no way he'll finish? With the condition? With the condition they were, with the condition they were in, like physically. Yeah. Or the state that they were in, condition that they were in, but ended up making it all the way through. Oh, that part is from that perspective, no. But from the perspective of did I look at people and judge them based on how they looked and went, nah, there's no way you're making it. Yes, I did do that. And those ones that I looked at, I don't recall any of them getting through or completing selection or being there at the end. Does that mean that I was right? Like you don't often you usually don't have any connection with people once they are removed or if they quit or whatever. Oftentimes you don't even see it. So some of those people that I might have looked at, apart from those that failed day 1 and or quit, and you happen to be in their group or in that vicinity, then yeah, you know about them. But there were some people that I looked at on selections and thought, NZ and Australian, thought, you're not finishing this, bro. Like you're not gonna. And I would think to myself, arrogant or not, I think to myself, bloody hell, if you are still standing here at the end of this and I'm not, I need to bloody give myself a million uppercuts. That was the thought that I'd had in my head. But also at the same time, that was a driver, right? Like for me, in both instances, if I'm going to be so naive and arrogant and dare I say, internally disrespectful, because I'm not outwardly projecting that or saying, bro, what are you doing here? You're going to fail. That's just the thought that I'm having in my head as I'm making an assumption and a judgment and looking at somebody. If I'm going to have that thought, well, I had better bloody be backing it up and pushing myself to not, or to still be here, especially if that person's going to be here, So it was a driver in that perspective. At the same time, opposite is true. I looked at some guys and thought, absolute weapons, like that fella's going to smash this. I thought to myself, that guy's going to smoke this selection. And nah, they withdrew. So just rewinding back, sorry, the other part where I've looked at people and thought they're not going to make it, to your question based on it, but they still made it through. I don't recall any of those ones, but I do recall looking at people saying that they're not going to make it and them not making it. But whether or not it was because they quit or because they were injured, there may have been some instances that I'm not aware of. So they may have legitimately removed or been withdrawn from the course because of a legit injury or whatever. So, yeah, and maybe not necessarily because they failed. the same time, there are plenty of people that fail the runs and that sort of thing, and pack marches and navigation. And when I did see those, I was just like, see, I knew you wouldn't. See, I knew you would fail. Right or wrong, that's what I did. Like, to be honest, and answering your question as well as I can. Flip it around. What else did you have? Ended up making it all the way through. Lots of questions, so thanks for your patience. Hey, you're all good. Thank you. Thank you again, Stuart, for the donation, the super chat. I think that's what it's called. Sup, Joe? Talk 5018. Kia ora, bro. Sup with you? I don't know how long I've been going for now. Does this thing show a time? Oh yeah, it does. It shows 95 minutes on there. Can't see it on. I'm looking at the screen on the laptop here to try to see the chat, and I'm using the phone on here to try to take on board some of the feedback about have better video quality, so the camera on the phone's better. No green screen. It's the background, so the background is the background. But yeah, covered off on a bunch of stuff. What's our time? 1:48. Holy hecker. Nearly 2 hours of me yapping away, or hour and a half, or whatever it is. Appreciate anybody's time that's decided to come and stop by here. Yeah, I don't know if there's any other questions. I need to catch Buck. If you're still on here, I need to catch one of your lives, bro. I think you were doing a live the same time I was doing a live the other day. And then I didn't see that you had done a live until it popped up, the little notification. And it says, Mr. Buckaroony is live. And then I went to click on it and it was like, oh, from 4 hours ago or whatever, or 2 hours ago. So apologies, I missed that. What's your plan for today's workout session, bro? Oh, this morning was just some mobility warm-up stuff on the treadmill, and then just some lifting, a little bit of metabolic conditioning, if that's the right term. So just some rowing, and then thrusters, front squat, push press. Just used the barbell, didn't chuck the tens on or anything, so it was nice and light. The what's the name? The screen on the row, that's for this morning. Haven't done this afternoon yet. I'll make that up as I go along. Maybe just some farmers carries or something. But this morning, so it's just for time. So a 2-minute row, ideally, hopefully getting at least 500 meters or more, and ideally less than 2 minutes, but row for 2 minutes. So because the screen isn't working, no screen, so just going for time, but the damper and everything works just fine. So ripping away on that, 5 rounds, and then just 20 thrusters or front squat push press with just the empty barbell. So just alternating between that for 5 rounds, 2-minute row, 20 thrusters, 2-minute row. So at least 10 minutes worth of rowing, however long it took to get through the thrusters at the end. And then just some, knee-hab, like isometric stuff, knee-hab and Achilles stuff, and calf, a little bit of calf work, but that was, just a few sets of as many as I could. Both legs, calf raises, single leg calf raises, and then some cool down sort of mobility, stretching, that sort of thing. So yeah, nothing spectacular or fancy, bro. What about you? What's your plans this afternoon? Like I said, I haven't got that worked out. Maybe some more pulling, some dead hangs, and farmer carries, and just superset that dead hang for 30 seconds to 45 seconds or a minute off the pull-up bar. Then pick up a couple of heavyish dumbbells, maybe the 30s, maybe might need to just grab the 20s and then just walk the length of the driveway and back, or hold them and do some step ups for a minute and then short break and then do the same again, dead hang, hold the things and then step up onto a low box. So yeah, that's the thought in the head at the moment anyway. We'll see. Hopefully that answers that question. I think that's it. Hey, I think that I don't see this. Really appreciate the donations, Stuart McAdam. The questions as well. So not only just the donations. Appreciate the people that choose to follow, subscribe, whatever, regardless of what your opinion is or what our differences might be in terms of people's thoughts or opinions about shoves or whatever. Yeah, if you've stopped by here, cool, thank you. If you're one of those bots or whatever, I don't know. Bots. I can't see anything else on there. I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, I think Talk 5018 is the last commenter. Sup, Joe? What's your plan for today's? And thank you to the members. Bloody hell, I've been slacking doing that actually. Thank you very much for the members. I'll put up a post. I could ask. I'll ask now, and I'll put up a post. So I'll put up a post asking people if anybody's got any questions for Shubs. A person has sent through some comments in an email to me, which is fine. So I've read that out on here, and I'll look to ask that question that they've asked. But I've also got Janiyah this coming weekend as well. People that don't know him, go check out Janiyah on Instagram. I don't think he's got a YouTube. You'll be impressed. What I'll do is I'll screenshot Shubs' channel, Janiyah's channel, put it in a post, and then put the same sort of thing. Hey, if anybody's got any questions in particular that they would like me to ask Janiyah, and Shubs and Janiyah, because that's the interviews scheduled for this weekend, then whack them in the comments, and I'll look to include those. That's not because, by the way, that's not because I don't have any questions. I've got a ton of questions for all the guests that I've reached out to so far, including the ones that have replied. The ones that have replied, I've sort of prioritized working on those and getting stuff ready. And there's heaps. So some of the stuff that people might want me to ask, I may actually already have it. But at the same time, I just wanted to give an opportunity to anybody that follows this channel or my channel to participate, to have your questions. I'll mention you if that's all right. So if you do put down a question, I'll be sure to mention your handle at least, and where the question has come from when I present it to the guest being interviewed. So yeah, I'll do that. Otherwise, now I'll leave you to it. I'll get back to prepping for these interviews, looking for reactions to do on Mr. Magoo, and reaching out to a few more people like Dale Fry. I need to reach out to. There was somebody else that somebody mentioned. Anyway, I'll go through the list and see who else I need to reach out to and invite. But stoked with the several people that have replied so far, that have confirmed and that are willing to jump on. So look after yourselves, people. Enjoy the rest of your week. As always, the message is the same. Any challenges, difficulties, hard times that you find yourself going through at any time, whether it's now or whether it may be potentially building up and coming up or on the horizon, or maybe it just blindsides you, and it just bloody knocks you for six. Keep tuning up, keep staying in the fight, put one foot in front of the other, and just take one day at a time. No one trusts that things can do and will get better. They always do, especially if and when you want them to. But you do have to want them to get better. Otherwise, it's very easy to just stay in the same miserable cycle. So just know that the sun will shine again, that there are better days ahead, and those better days, in my experience, are always closer than you and I think. So just stick at it. There is a light at the end of that tunnel. So as always, go always a little further. Remember, who dares wins and who cares wins. And until the next video, there is a big mana wave coming from me to you, filled with my aroha, respect, appreciation, and gratitude for you all. Oh, actually, those that ask, what is aroha? It's just essentially love, filled with my love, respect, gratitude, appreciation for you all. Well, it depends. There might be some haters out there, so maybe my love might not extend to that lot. Anyway, ka kits, peeps. End